Hi, hello, welcome back to Chapter One and Beyond. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, and I apologize, but I am really off schedule lately. I thought today's episode could be great with covering my stats and covering how much I'm consuming, which authors I've been preferring and categories and just all the things to kind of update. Because, I mean, the whole reason why I had started this podcast was to track, um, you know, getting rid of my physical TBR. And my physical TBR had started around 200 to 300 books, relatively. Um, I mean, obviously, unfortunately, my physical TBR has grown a little bit, but I have to say I'm very proud of myself because my book buying habits have really been controlled, just because like money has just not been there. Says pretty much almost all Americans in this country right now. um, but yeah, it's been busy, and I want to update you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you that have come back time and time again to my episodes on this podcast, and I'm just so thankful, and I'm excited for any new listeners that come to this podcast because, um, when I first started this podcast, I really didn't think anybody would listen, and I'm just very thankful. Even if it's only a few people here and there, I'm still thankful. I love doing this, and this has been a wild ride this year, and it's really changed my reading habits this year. I'm having a really great reading year. So yeah, if you're new here, my name is Christina. I'm the host of Chapter One and Beyond. Welcome back if you are returning. But let's dive into all the things of like stats and just catching up. So get cozy, get your drink. Let's go. All right, guys. So let's just talk stats briefly for a second here. Um, originally, I'm looking at my overall year. So today is currently November 10th, 2025, and um, I'm very shocked at how many books that I've consumed this year. And but at the same time, too, I'm not shocked because like ever since that I've kind of changed this mindset that books need to be consumed physically, not through audiobook, I've, you know, I've changed that mindset of like incorporating audiobooks into my livelihood, and it has really been a game changer when it comes to consuming just anything when it comes to book content, and I'm very happy with it because it has really allowed me to plow through this physical TBR that I have. And it's really changed too on how I'm spending my money when it comes to purchasing as well. Um, I personally am the type that, if it's a one and done book, I would love to have a physical book, but I would probably looking at my finances and my budget, I prefer to go to the library, not purchase anything unless I know deep down this is a book that I'm going to pick up in the future, and it's just something that I absolutely physically loved, and I know that in my heart I will pick it back up in the future. If it's not, then I feel like I've wasted money, and there have been quite a few books on my shelf that have felt like that. Um, am I thankful for at least reading them? Yes, but it has really changed my mindset of how I purchase items for myself, just so that I can, I'm all about the sprayed edges and like all these special editions. I used to not be obsessed with that, but now it's like, okay, well, if I really love a book, I really want a sprayed edge book. So I'm going to spend a little extra, if you will. And then if there's like an anticipated new release, that I know I'm going to devour and I absolutely need it, I will totally go after my credits for Book of the Month that I just revamped again. And I'm only paying $14 a month for that. So I'm like, a hardcover book at Barnes and Noble or Books a Million or even brand new at half price books, I'm still spending around 25 to 30 plus bucks for a hardcover book. And I can't see myself doing that. So I take advantage of where I can save some money and then put my money like a little bit, stretch my dollar a little bit more, if you will. So um I know I just got on a tangent with that, but needless to say, my reading consumption from January to June of this year has been interesting. So at the beginning of this year, from January to June, and this is from January 1 all the way to the end of June of 2025, I consumed a total of 41 books. I read 8,727 pages, and I consumed 198 hours of audiobook content. My preferred genre was fiction, and I actually preferred physical book format over audiobook during this period. Um, and then the top authors that I had picked up not once but more than once was Sarah J. Maas, Riley Sager, and Shirley LaPena. So I'd say that is like comparing these stats just in those 6 months compared to 2024 um, has been absolutely crazy. Like I'm just so happy with where I'm at. And a lot of those books were consumed from my physical TBR. I believe it was like 30% of those books were on my physical shelf. So I'm happy with that. Now, July to currently, things are about to change because, like, I never in a million years would think that I would have consumed this many books in this period. I just wasn't really keeping track until just now. So, July to November 10th, 2025, which is today, I have currently to date consumed within that period 72 books. I have read 11,593 pages, and here's the audiobook content. I have consumed 447 hours of audiobook content. so, so yeah. So I guess the challenge of me changing from endlessly scrolling through like because I've also been tracking how many prompts I'm finishing in a given time. I'm up to 7 prompts completed already. Um, there's already been people like on BookTube that have completed a full row, and I really don't know how, because there's just so many books that have to be consumed with these prompts. Like there are some that I'm like really close to finishing. Like subgenres of choice, I picked sci-fi, and that probably wasn't a smart way of going about it, but it's what I wanted to do. That one's been a very challenging prompt just because trying to find books that fit the subgenre choices and stuff. So yeah, I only have one left of that. When it comes to series staircase, I still have about 6 books to consume here. For award season, I still have 2 here. For the last 10 years, I have 1. Um, and then disability challenge for Hrcyed 2.0, I have 3 in that category. I mean, some of these prompts have more than like 6 plus books per prompt. So, I mean, it is taking a hefty amount of time to get through them. Um, and some of these books, depending on the prompt, they may have to be consumed physically. And right now, I don't have that kind of time to commit. But looking at how many books that I've already read, I've well exceeded my own personal goal of wanting to finish over 100 books in 1 year. Um, because I've already consumed 112 between the audiobooks and the physical reads. So I'm very happy with that. Um, I'm not pushing myself further. I do have plans. A very fun thing for me, that I'm looking forward to that I have not done ever, is where I wrapped up 12 books from my shelf. And I did this like probably early October. So I can't even remember what books I wrapped, which is going to be fun because it's going to be like Christmas all over again, trying to find out which book I have to read. And I have a spinner wheel, so like we're going to do the spinner wheel, and depending on how thick or thin these books are, I may consume more than one in 1 day, or I may consume just one in a couple of days. But I'm looking forward to that because, like, some of them were books that I really wanted to fit in before 2026, and others were like kind of like a seasonal read that I love doing. Um, so yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm looking forward to, you know, the end of this month because we got Thanksgiving coming up, which is a big holiday week. I'm not very much into like Black Friday shopping, so for me, it's going to be like if my kids let me, I'll be physically reading. So, because I've been doing a lot of like ultra cleaning and ultra tidying around the house, and just overall just trying to purge stuff that's like either broken or no longer used, aged out, so on and so forth. Um, so yeah. And then as far as books go, like if I feel like I'm not going to reread those books, um, and even though they were great, I'm giving them to free little libraries in Northeast Ohio. So I figured now that I've read them and consumed them, I want to keep giving back to the community, and um, it allows me to do good and continue the use of these books. So it's not all for nothing, but I have been really keeping myself from buying books, like I mentioned earlier, and honestly it's been working out great because like I really want to support my local library. I really want to condense how many physical books I do have, just because um I feel like the space in my area in the basement right now is very cramped, and I would like to get a cozy chair down here. Not that I probably would read down here because it's cold. um, I usually read upstairs in the living room, while, my significant other plays video games or the kids are playing or watching a movie. Um, so yeah, that's my preferred place to read. But honestly, though, um, I really could foresee myself wiping out another shelf by next year, just because the pace that I've been going at, and maybe 2026 will be less, who knows. But um I feel like I'm looking forward to the reading that's going to happen in 2026, just because I am looking at the books that I have still left on my shelf, and there are some, according to booktube, there are some really good series that I do have on my shelf. I do have Caravel still on my shelf. I have Fourth Wing on my shelf. I have the rest of the Stormlight Archive. I mean, I've only gotten through a small chunk of The Way of Kings, so I still have the Stormlight Archive series. I have the start to the Mistborn series. I have all of my Cassandra Clare books. I have the Last Magician series that I need to get through. I have the Crescent City trilogy on my shelf that I still need to get through. I have the Throne of Glass series that I need to get through. Wheel of Time. I mean, I have some pretty iconic mentioned over and over again fantasy series that I really need to get through, and I'm just really looking forward to that. And then I have some really good mentioned um, sci-fi books as well that like it varies. Like there's some Brandon Sanderson, like I have some of the Skyward series. I have Marie Lu's duology of Sky Hunter and Steel Striker on my shelf. And then I know I have Curious Tides. I think that's more fantasy than sci-fi though. And then I have my classics that I've been consuming too. So, and then I have my Dungeon Crawler Carl. I really want to get back into that. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just really looking forward to my reading in the next like year, if not more. Because like I just have so much more that I need to devour, and now that like my buying has like kind of gotten more diminished, I feel like honestly um I can catch up. So um and then like I can really like kind of go through my want to read list, and yeah, really tackle that as well. So will I willingly go out and just buy some of the books that are on my want to read list? No, I will not. I'm not doing that anymore. As much as book outlet and everything tempt me, I do not just go out and buy books just because, for the heck of it. So, um, yeah. But yeah, let's talk about the plans for the remainder of the year, if I have not covered that already. Um, so like I had mentioned, I was going to do like I wrapped up 12 books for 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm excited about that one, but honestly, I'm looking at maybe only consuming like 3 or 4 more books physically for the remainder of the year. Um some of the books, I believe, if I remember correctly, some of the books that I did wrap up, I could technically consume via audiobook. But for the most part, I believe I may have time. Um, so I may get more than 3 or 4 done beyond, well, I guess beyond what I initially said. So, um, I'm, I'm just kind of going along with it for the next couple of months because, I mean, I have, my oldest's birthday coming up, and then I have all the holiday stuff coming up. I just personally, I just don't want to pressure myself. So, for the most part, I'm excited for 2026 because I already have my reading goals already planned, which I'm planning on talking about those in a future episode. I have some fun, quirky things that I'm planning on doing, like reading challenges throughout the year. Um, Hrcyed, I'm not really like pressuring myself to fully black out the board anymore just because there's just I love the concept, but I just personally have been getting stressed out on trying to fulfill these prompts, and some of these books I just really don't feel like reading. Um so so yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, honestly, like looking at the list that I still have left to read, I have A Christmas Carol still on here, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. A Court of Silver Flames is still on here. A Taste of Honey by Kai Ashanti Wilson is still on here. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Wow, I think I pronounced that right. Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Blood Marked by Tracy Dion. Built to Sell, Creating a Business That Can Thrive Without You by John Warlow. I still have that on my list. Of course, my Dungeon Crawler Carl books 2 through 4 are still on this list. So Carl's Doomsday Scenarios on here. Quarrel by Sarah Ella. I'm I don't know. This one, like every time I see this title, I'm like, okay, I really want to read it, but then at the same time too, I feel like I'm gonna hate it. It is a YA fantasy, and it's a Little Mermaid retelling, I believe. So I don't know. Enchantra by Kaylee Smith is still on here. Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close is on here. Girls of Storm and Shadow. Actually, I am kind of like ecstatic for this one because I really love the first one of this series. It is a YA fantasy dystopian type series, so I mean and it's got LGBTQIA representation in it. Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. I still have that on my list. Hellrunner by Sarah Wolf. That one doesn't come out until March, but oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get more mechs and more of this universe. I'm so excited for this book. That's still on my list. Moby Dick is still on my list. My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney is still on my list. Oathbound by Tracy Dion is still on my list. Pet by Amezi Akiwaki. I can't pronounce that first name. I'm sorry. It's spelled Akwaeke, and then last name's Emezi. This was also part of my, I believe, the queer alphabets prompt. That one's still on my list. Project Hail Mary, Red City by Marie Lu is still on. Those are still on. I mean, I could keep going, but yeah, there's still so many books on this list. I mean, some of the ones that I am excited for are definitely Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I am so stoked for that. Hellrunner, I'm stoked for it. I'm very curious about Infinity Courts by Kimi Dawn Bowman. And then The Night and the Moth, I'm definitely excited for that one. Um, some of these are really beefy, and I'm not excited for them. um, I have started The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is a very massive book physically, and I've been so like intimidated by this book. But I was able to use one of my credits on Audible to get that book. Um, so I'm about 8% of the way in. Like when I was like cleaning my oldest's room, I was listening to that audiobook. So that's when I feel like the audiobooks really help me a lot is when I'm trying to do physical productive things. Um but yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like I have still quite a few to go when it comes to Hrcyed 2.0, and it kind of makes me exhausted and stressed, but I'm going to be honest, like I'm just going to go with the flow and see how it goes. I just know that I'm probably not going to be able to get a blackout just because I know I'm got the time ticking against the clock when it comes to the new releases. Um, and I just think that's just going to be the deal breaker for me, along with fulfilling the Heritage Months challenge as well in the queer alphabet. Just because some of the books that are on that list, it's not that I don't like reading this stuff. It's just I'm just very much a mood reader now, and I haven't really been in that kind of mindset to read those books. So but yeah, so that's what it's looking like for the end of the year. I will in future episodes talk about my 26 in 2026. I'm gonna look at like my highest highs of like my top books of the year for 2025 and my lowest books of 2025. I have that planned for this podcast. Um, so many fun reading challenges for 2026. It's going to be a good time. So, um am I going to be able to keep pace with the Try It or Trash It series? Probably spread that out a little bit further than just doing 1 week, because if I'm like pulling 3 books and I can't physically read and I can't get the audiobooks, I'm likely going to be doing that every other week in 2026. I was kind of experimenting with the 3 days of content per week, but physically, I haven't even been able to like record myself at this point. Um, so yeah, we're just kind of experimenting right now, and I appreciate you all for supporting and being along the ride for this. But I think that's all I'm going to talk about for today. I hope that you are meeting and exceeding your reading goals and you're having the greatest reading year of your life. And I would love to interact with you, but I know that many that have been listening haven't interacted yet. And that's okay because maybe you're not getting to the end of the episodes. Who knows? But I appreciate you regardless. If you do reach the end of this episode, please like and interact with me. I would love to talk with you about books, and I appreciate all the support. So, all right, take care, guys, and happy reading. Later. Bye.